I'm going to start, Brian, with a discussion. Then I'm going to do the video for a while, then we'll end with a discussion. How's that?
Sounds good.
So, being the good director that you are, you can give me the cues that, whenever you're ready. In the meantime, last time we talked about how Moses and Aaron somehow got together. And they visited Pharaoh, if you recall, and they asked for something.
You're sloth.
Just a minute.
I figured it was sloth.
Oh, it's easy to unlock. I thought I had. There we go. It's stuck on me. Anyway, when Moses and Aaron got to Pharaoh, if you recall from the film, you realize how you saw how hard it was to get to see Pharaoh. I mean, you had guards at the door and everything else, and you had all these people, and you had this, this guy. They called him the old windbag that that announced everybody and all that sort of stuff. So you just didn't walk in and say, "Hey, how's things?" So they met Pharaoh for the first time, and what did they ask for?
They go out in the desert and do some kind of
Festival.
Yeah, they were going to go out in the desert and do some kind of festival. And why did they want to do that?
Their heritage.
No, they told Pharaoh if they didn't do it, then God would punish them, and so they had to do this. And so after that happens, what does Pharaoh decide?
He told them no. I don't remember if that was when he told them that they still had to do the same work, but no addition was allowed.
Right, exactly. So Pharaoh didn't respond very well. So now what I'm going to, now what we're going to show you from the video, and Brian, you'll be turning this off, is how the movie sets the. Where did all of that come from?
Oh,
What we just saw.
why is he doing this?
Why is he doing what?
Why are they going out there and
Well, remember, he got caught.
killed an Egyptian guy?
Yeah, and he got caught, and Ramesses caught him, so Seti said, don't kill him, just
Oh, so
throw him out the
desert.
desert.
Okay.
This is punishment.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, none of that was in the text that we just saw. All it said was he fled and nothing else. There was nothing about purging or any of those kinds of things, or being drawn or anything else. It just said he left. Now, is this the, what I can't figure out is whether this is the writing of some other historian or whether this is Hollywood's embellishment of the story. But think of what this means. What did Jesus do after he was baptized?
Went to the wilderness for 40 days.
He went to the wilderness for 40 days. And in the wilderness, this is where prophets are cleansed and purged and ready for God's service. So this is like a stepping stone to what happens after this. Now, how much of this was made up by Cecil B. DeMille and how much of this was written by somebody else, we don't know. But the reason I brought this up is all the Bible says is that he fled. So let's see what happens after this. Saw the scene, right? First of all, who is the brave one?
Sephora, something like that.
Yeah, and she is the of age, right? He just told you. He is the oldest. Okay? So, now listen to what the Bible says happened. Now a priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the troughs to water their father's flock. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moses got up, came to their rescue, and watered the flock. When the girls returned to their father, he asked them, "Why have you returned so early today?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock." "And where is he?" he asked his daughters. "Why did you leave him? Invite him to have something to eat." What did Zipporah say she was going to do?
Talk to the father.
She was going to, invite him to their house.
Okay.
So obviously there's a little disagreement here, but be that as it may, it becomes more fun as it goes on. Let's listen to what they say happened. Moses agreed to stay with the man who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Zipporah gave birth to a son. Moses named him Gershom, saying, "I have become an alien in a foreign land."
Oh, so he marries her.
Yeah. The point is, again, you just got a sermon. They stuck a sermon in there on you, didn't they? The God of Abraham should be the God of all people. That's not in here, but it's in there. And
So you mean maybe there's other writings other than the Bible that people are
yeah, he says he looked at Philo and Josephus and a few others. But that was a sermon
right?
directed at you. So, when she talks about the mountain and trembling, she's setting the stage, okay, for what happens next. The text mentions nothing about that mountain trembling, or that's where God lives yet. So let's see where that leads. Who does that scene remind you of that happens later? It probably inspired it, as a matter of fact. When Samuel goes to pick the next king of Israel, who does he pick?
David.
And what was David doing?
Taking care of sheep.
He wasn't even there. He was taking care of the sheep, and Samuel had to go to find him. I'm not saying that that's the basis of what we saw. But if you read the text, all it said was Jethro decided that these two were going to get together, and that's it. So you got to hear the speech about we have nothing, and we have truth, and we have this, and we have that. And then at the end, you see the mountain. And what was going on up there?
It looked like a volcano.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? I mean, it's good Hollywood lighting, but the fact is, it looked like a volcano.
Again,
Something is happening up there.
You wonder about the oral traditions of the Jewish people. So some of it could be oral stuff that was never in the Bible, that because they knew some Jewish people, they put that in the movie too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things in the story of Moses and the Old Testament that point to events that have not yet happened. Okay? Now, like I say, that's not in here. Somebody put that in. And it's amazing how good she looked, isn't it?
Is there really a volcano on that side?
What's that?
Is there really a volcano?
No, no. There is a Mount Sinai, they think. It pretty much identified where it is. But by the way, the person who plays his wife, she became Lily Munster. So as I say, she looked pretty good in that, didn't she? So, again, the text does not show Joshua ever being anywhere near there. And he ends up back in the story. So somehow he must have gotten away from where he was at. But the point of the matter is that here you had Joshua telling him they need him. And what did he say then? I am not the man. Then he sees that and comes back changed. So this is the starting point of Moses the deliverer. And it's all, remember, all it said was that he saw the bush, and it did repeat what the conversation that they had. Okay, it did do that much.
I think too, there were probably a lot of gods back then, whether they're real or not real. Like the sun god and the earth god and this god and that god. So the way for Moses to ask, what's your name, makes sense.
Moses said, here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, which we saw, for the place you are standing is holy ground. And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt, and I have heard them crying out because of the slave drivers. So I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and bring them up out of the land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So go now. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you. This will be the sign that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on this mountain. Moses said to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? What should I tell them? God said to Moses, I am who I am. That is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am sent me to you. So at least that part of it fits. Okay? The Joshua part, don't know where that came from. But anyway, Moses changes when he sees the bush. And you notice they went to great lengths to show you the beard he had going up there and the beard he had coming down. And from the looks of it, he was up there a while. So keep that in mind, that the question is not whether there was a burning bush or what it was. Something happened to that man to change him from being a contented shepherd to risking it all again for the second time. Something did. It's not our job to figure out what that something was. It's our job to know that it happened, and it's our job to see what happened next. Make sense? But like I say, when you watch this movie, you got to think about, I've seen that in the Bible somewhere else. okay, because they are sticking things in there to educate people and give sermons to people that they're not expecting, which is very, very slick. Okay?